Warning, this video is intended for persons 13 years and over. Though the video's subject matter is media often aimed at children, it is talked about from an adult perspective. Thus it may contain language and themes unsuitable for younger audiences. What up, snitches? I'm the Animaniac, and today we get into the period of Disney where their wallets were tight, but they still wanted to keep their hands in making feature films. And because of how long these movies are, I'm making this a double bill. Let's begin with Saludos Amigos. That's greetings, friends, in Spanish, for those who don't know. The first of many packaged films to come out during the 1940s, where some of the Disney gang go down to get a taste of South America and make several shorts about the continent in the process. In 1941, months before the United States entered World War II, their Department of State commissioned a goodwill tour of South America, hoping the trip would lead to a few movies. This and the Three Caballeros in particular. Because the studio was commissioned to do this, they were also guaranteed loans from their government to fund the project. Live-action documentary footage of the artists and Walt Disney observing the South American culture for both films was shot for Saludos Amigos, making this my first foray into live action. Don't get used to it. Said sequences surprised US audiences when they saw the big South American cities with modern-looking buildings inhabited by fashionable citizens. Before this film, they only thought Americans and Europeans looked like that. So Saludos Amigos did help change the impressions people had about Latin America at the time. And this movie inspired Chilean cartoonist, I'll just stick it up on the screen here, to create Condorito, one of Latin America's most popular cartoon characters. But he was only created because Rene took umbrage with one of the cartoons in the film, Pedro, a short about an airplane delivering mail through a storm in the mountains. I thought it was the best short of the movie, so I honestly don't see what he was so upset about. Sorry. The film did rake in just over $1 million worldwide, and it was only re-released one more time in 1949 as part of a double bill with Dumbo, and to this day it holds a Rotten Tomatoes critical score of 83%. As it is nice to see the footage of the artists visiting South America to observe the culture and commit what they are seeing to the drawing board, these are great to look at, by the way. Looking at them now, I don't think they would be necessary as a lead-in for the cartoons. I'd get the general idea of the similarities and differences between the United States and South America, especially in El Gancho Goofy, the prototype for Goofy's how-to cartoons Disney would later produce, where Goofy is used to show how the Gancho is different, but the same as a cowboy. As for the cartoons themselves, they're okay. The animation this time around is on the same level as Disney's theatrical cartoons and Dumbo, basically making this movie a step down from Bambi just for coming out several months afterwards. Lake Titicaca is an okay Donald Duck cartoon. I haven't watched enough classic Donald Duck at the time I saw this movie, so take that however you want. It has some decent gags with Donald Duck exploring a local village and taking pictures. Like I said earlier, I was the tensest during Pedro, in big thanks to the film's narrator, especially when Pedro was traversing the mountains. El Gancho Goofy was okay, but I didn't like it as much as Lake Titicaca, even though it made way for a new series of shorts. Aquarela do Brasil I appreciate on an artistic level, but not as much as the pink elephant sequence from Dumbo. Saludos Amigos has helped get the ball rolling for changing the United States' perception of Latin Americans for the time it came out. If you're interested in Disney history, this is a must-have for your collection. But to anyone else watching this today, it's not something to go crazy for. This was just acceptable. Now let's have a look at the symbol for unity of all three Americas, the Three Caballeros. It's Friday the 13th and it's Donald Duck's birthday. I wonder who he got as a birthday clown. And he got presents from his friends in Central and South America. There isn't much to say about the production of this movie, as I already covered it at the beginning of this video. And just like Saludos Amigos, the Three Caballeros only had one more reissue in 1977, but it was cut down to 41 minutes so it could be shown alongside a reissue of Never a Dull Moment. The film raked in $3.35 million worldwide, but it also joined the initial mixed reception club with Bambi for confusing critics by being a technological spectacle more than something with meat on its bones like the ones that came before it. Some critics even drew attention to Donald Duck lusting after several live-action women in the movie. Looks like Disney took inspiration from the alternative ending of Tex Avery's Red Hot Riding Hood, and Donald would have to explain himself when Daisy finds out about this. And just like Bambi, the film was much more positively received in retrospect, as the Rotten Tomatoes critical consensus called it one of Disney's more abstract creations. The Three Caballeros is a dazzling, colorful picture that shows the company at an artistic acme. The film currently holds a critical score of 88% on the site. Now, right out the gate, I'm in the same camp as the critics. I like this movie. The movie's animation at the beginning is on the same level as Saludos Amigos. It was the standard animation used in Disney cartoons of the time, which was decent enough to sell the slapstick in the in-between segments with Donald, Jose, and Panchito. That is until I got to segments like Baya and Donald's Surreal Reverie, where it shows its Fantasia influence, especially in the former segment where Donald becomes part of the sound wave line similar to the one from Fantasia. I like seeing Disney doing more of this, and as if things couldn't get any more innovative in this movie, they blend the animated characters in with live-action human actors against green-screened backgrounds. This technique would later be used in one of Disney's first live-action films, Song of the South. For the time, I can see this technique being innovative, but looking at it now, I can see how poorly it aged, mostly because of the technology they were using back then. Earlier in the video, I mentioned the critics were uncomfortable at the sight of Donald Duck lusting after a real woman in Baya and the Latin square dancing stop on the Caballeros tour of Mexico. Personally, I wasn't repulsed by the bits, as Donald almost always failed in these routines. It was always a little funny. The Three Caballeros content-wise is on the same level as Saludos Amigos, and like the critics, I appreciate its artistry much more than its predecessor. Donald and company inch into being a gay old time. Guys, did you ever see these films? If so, what did you think of them? Let me know in the comments. If you guys want to stay updated on future videos and see some cool artwork, be sure to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, and DeviantArt, and be sure to subscribe to my backup channel over on BitChute. The links are in the description. And if you want to be the first to know when a new video will be up, ring that bell after you subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.